Zola when it gets too bad.
It must be camembert, mustn't it? Romanian.
Thank you. Well, welcome everybody to this lovely sunny afternoon. I hope you all had good strong lunch because you're going to see something now that is a little bit gory. So I want you actually to turn your minds back to 200 years ago. And that was a time before anaesthetics, analgesics, painkillers, antiseptics. They didn't have anything like post-traumatic stress syndrome, nothing like that at all. And you can imagine that we've got a fellow here, and there were hundreds queuing up. That's French, German, Dutch, all together, enemies, all together. We treated everybody. The surgeons were neutral. I would stay behind after an attack. If our army was retreating, I would stay with my wounded, and then I would be exchanged later on. I wouldn't become a prisoner of war. So they all respected the surgeons because they knew you were trying to save people's lives. So no anaesthetic at all. So he's going to have his leg removed with no anaesthetic. So all of you have been to the dentist and you have painkillers. This chap's going to have the whole leg taken off. Anaesthetic at all. The only anaesthetic would be strong alcohol. Now, this is going to be a stressful situation for the patient. It's going to be stressful for you. It's going to be stressful for me. So that is really for me. He doesn't get that because he's a private soldier. He might have a beer afterwards. But that's to calm my nerves because it is a very, very stressful thing for surgeons. Because you imagine what it was like doing hundreds of these operations with someone squirming, and screaming and saying stop, 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 and you've got to carry on in candlelight with gunshot all around you. This chap received a wound yesterday, and we'll assume that this is the ball that struck you. Now, I just want you to pick that up. That's a 12-pounder shell which is hollow. Don't drop it, for goodness sake, on your foot. Just pass that around, so let someone else pick that up and feel the weight of that. Because you've got to realise the weight of it to realise the damage that that would do. That has got a lot of kinetic energy. At 300 foot a second, that's coming towards you. And you're standing in line, and you can't duck or flinch. You've just got to hope that it hits the guy next to you and not you. Even if it passed close to you, it's called wind of ball. And if it passed close to you, it will actually upset tissues and put up a continuous shock. But this has actually bounced a few times, and it's grazed his leg, a tangential shot below the knee. And it's splintered those bones, and he's been lying on the field, and it's now dying. We've smelt it, and it smells a little bit cheesy, so that means it's got gangrene. So it's going to have to come off, it's dying. We obviously want to cut not everything off because we want him to follow the regimen. So we're going to cut below the knee. And the cut we're going to do, we're going to articulate the knee when we finish at 90 degrees so that when we put a false leg on, it'll be no more painful than kneeling on a pile of books. If it's a higher cut, you've got a stump which is going inside a cut. It will take longer for him to be mobile. He will be following our regiment within 10 days. Because he wants to stay with us and not go back to a general hospital where he'll die of disease. So we go. Yes, be warned, there's going to be a lot of bangs this afternoon. So anyone who's got hearing aids, heart things, dogs that are gun shy, be careful. I'm just going to talk this through and then we'll do the operation. It might be a good idea to sort of time it and see how quick it is. Because obviously with no anaesthetics you want to get over this as quickly as possible, both for my sake and for his. Now if it was going to be above the knee, you have to transfix the leg. So say for instance that bone there is called the femur, that goes from the knee up to the thigh. You would actually transfix the leg by feeling for the bone, pushing right through, and then pushing down and up. That's the cutting edge, and sweeping out, and then below and sweeping back that way. Then you'd pull back all the flesh, cut the bone off, and you've got a nice, neat stump joint, like a bird's mouth. This one, on a battlefield, we haven't got time for civilian niceties. We're going to go through in one go, which is called a guillotine cut, and you're going to use a knife like this. So that's a curved one, which means pretending that's the leg, I'm actually going to put it like that, feeling for the bone. All the time it's got to grate on those bones and go round in one sweep. If it was civilian practice and we had time, I would go very lightly with one sweep, peel back the skin 1.5 inches, then take away successive layers of muscle, which would create a nice concave stump, and the skin would pull back in it. There's no time on the shoot. So it's got to go through in one shot, in one go, and it's called a guillotine cut. Now before we do that, obviously we've got to stop off the blood supply. And we do that with a thing called tourniquet. That's called a petit tourniquet, and it's a pad which screws down. The quartermaster will screw that will actually go on the inside of the thigh, and it will crush up the main artery against the femur, which stops the blood. If that cannonball had hit him on the leg instead of just grazed him, the leg would have come off immediately, and that's called an avulsion. It would have torn it off in a microsecond. There would have been no torrential bleeding. So when you see films, it's not like that. If the leg or arm comes off, the arteries, blood vessels, pull and snap back. They're elastic. And like the neck of that bottle, they would close off and blood supply will stop. So you had soldiers at Waterloo walking back to Brussels holding the arm that had been taken off, not bleeding to death. If they'd lost the arm or the leg with a sabre, you would have had torrential blood loss because it's a clean cut. So I'm effectively taking his leg off with a sabre, so we've got to stop the blood off first. The most painful thing is putting the tourniquet on. All the soldiers say that's bad. The other thing is they all complain that the knife is cold. They all feel that first because it goes through nerves and tissue, so cold. So you just put it into hot water just to let it warm up. I know it sounds crazy this, but a warm knife you don't feel quite so much. So what we do, we can put that round, stop off the blood supply. I'll do the guillotine cut, and then we're going to use a split bandage, which is a bandage like a Y shape, which goes around the bones and will pull up the good muscle fibres towards the patient, exposing more bone. Then that bone is cut as close to that as possible with a saw. And then we let go the retractor, and the muscle goes back down and the bone disappears inside it. Also the blood vessels and arteries. So then the surgeon's got to release that slightly to let a bit of blood through, then I've got to find out where they are, and then with a little tool here called a tenaculum, which I've got somewhere, yeah, there's a little tool there called a tenaculum. I would actually take up arteries with that little hook and pull them out, and it's got a little weight on the end, and they would dangle down, and then with that ligature that I've, to save time, already put round